Hello and welcome back to the show. I'm your informant, Isaac. 4 years ago today, an incident occurred between Channing Day and Vincent Burnham, and the first chapter of The Informant was born. Today we look back and reflect on how much our lives have changed, and because of the incident, and who we are now. And we look back at what we did. A lot has changed. Who we are, our environment, our friends, and our understanding of the world. 4 years ago was a long time, which is why today I bring to you an exclusive informant interview with someone who has first-hand account. Hold on, I'm getting some breaking news. We have an image here to bring up to you. Breaking news, there's a man seen fornicating with cones, traffic cones. We have an image, have you seen him? The police are on the lookout for this man. They want any information they can get about him. We have an image of him in the act with this traffic cone. Any information, please call the local police department. Keep your cones inside, keep them safe, keep them locked up. Welcome back to the show. I will now begin our exclusive interview with Vincent Burnham. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me on.
Now, 4 years ago, an incident occurred, and you were one of these members of said incident. How about you begin with, the whole shebang, Channing Day? Talk to me about it.
Okay. Well, first time I met Channing was as Xavier's girlfriend. That's how she was introduced to me, and that's what I knew her as. And I didn't really know her personally until her and Xavier had broken up. And leading into that, I had been hearing from Xavier about the breakup, and I knew that Channing really liked him, so I reached out to her and, just wanted to talk to her. I didn't have any intentions beyond talking to her at that point. Definitely a part of the relationship I had with her was smoking marijuana. That was probably like the center point of that was vaping and weed.
Okay.
And over time, it went from maybe once a week to more often. I was spending more and more time at her apartment doing that. And I don't think, it's a little sidetrack, but I don't think I ever loved Channing. And I could say the same about her to me. It was more of a relationship of drug usage and turned into lust.
Okay. So that was the beginning of it.
Yes.
What was the lead up kind of to the whole Bend incident, which brought us our first chapter?
Like I said, we were at her apartment frequently, using, and she had gone on a trip, which initially I didn't know about, and I believe it was either a day or two into it, she had asked me to come out with her. She was saying like, oh, I miss hanging out with you, all this and that. So I went, and two young adults who liked each other in a hamlet away from everyone else, one thing led to another. And I could absolutely say at that time my lust took over my rationality. I didn't care about the consequences, which was irrational. I was more interested in feeling
wanted accepted by someone, maybe?
In a sense, I think it was more me lashing out in a way Like, nothing personal against Channing or Xavier or anyone else who was involved in what happened. And more, I was still heartbroken over how I felt about the first person I loved. And I thought that I would somehow feel that way again with Channing. Even though there was no indication of that to be true. I could also say that sex has been a big struggle in my life. Sex addiction, pornography, since I was fairly young. So in that like twisted mindset of addiction that you're in, when you've been living that your decent part of your childhood through your teen years and into your early adulthood, I associated sexual intimacy with love. So I was blinded by lust.
Yeah. And so, like, she wanted it too. It wasn't like a one-sided thing. She mostly wanted you to do it. So in a way, it wasn't all you, but you still made that decision.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, is there any lessons that you learned that you'd share, just kind of general overall thoughts, because of the incident, what happened?
There's a few, one of which is lust is poison. It blinds you and makes you do things irrationally. When you're in that state of mind, you don't care about how your actions can affect other people, because that's not where your mind is. You're thinking about the moment, whether it's you're watching porn on your phone or engaging intimately with someone.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what lesson you could take from that, but that is a realization that I've had and something that I have been more successful with in my later years rather than during that time. I think that the idea of nuance is also very important in this story, where after what happened, there was a falling out between our group of friends, and I, partly in arrogance, felt like I didn't need to go out and reach out and explain myself to everyone. And I felt that responsibility was with everyone else. Whereas if they thought something of me, then they should come to me and talk about it, which in hindsight is selfish. I guess a good simple lesson is don't sleep with your friends' exes, especially if you're cousins.
Yep. Is there anything like, do you want to apologize to anybody? Is there anything you want to say, like, sorry, anything like that, or like just closing, anything anything like that?
That's a difficult question. In a way, yes. Like, I am sorry that it happened, and in hindsight, I didn't want it to happen that way. But with that being said, I know if that didn't happen, then I wouldn't be the person that I am today.
So you take it as a growth moment. You're sorry for it, but at the same time, you're happy that it helped you grow. I mean, not happy, like, yeah, but like,
right.
You look back as it now as a reflection and
right, as a
moment.
Reprehensible moment in my life, where I don't regret it happening, because I know that it would have happened in some other way.
Yeah.
But as like you said, a moment to reflect upon and to realize all of like the cascading events that have happened since.
Yeah.
Some related, some not. Some related in ways where if that didn't happen, I would have made different decisions from that point on. And I don't know if I could speak for anyone else on that point, but that is how I feel about it. I don't like that I did that.
Yeah.
I think that is regrettable in a sense. I feel like I'm talking in circles now.
It's fine.
Yeah, there was a lot of things that were going on in that time where I wasn't thinking as I would today. I made my choices, but I had two people basically fighting for me to take their side. And not that I chose wrong per se, more that I did things outside of that decision of taking a side and let my guard down and decided to ignore things that I knew were wrong and did them anyways.
Welcome back. Due to unfortunate circumstances, we had to film over 2 days. So today we're going to have another interview with Vincent, and then we're going to have a segment where he's going to talk a little bit more seriously, a little bit more addressing to you guys. And that's just what's happening today. So that's what this weird transition is. All right, we're doing an interview part today. Second day. Just ask a couple questions. I think a lot of people want to know where you are. So start with the first one. What is your journey of these past 4 years? What have you done, and where have you been?
When most everything went down, initially I was still working at Spaghetti Factory, and I've worked at quite a few places since then. I worked for Intel, same fab that Dylan still works at now. I also worked as a car mechanic for Mazda for a year, and then I became a student firefighter at Hoodland Fire District, and now I work part-time at Warm Springs Fire District as a paid and certified firefighter. There has been a lot of changes in my state of mind throughout that time. I look at it now as a journey towards God and towards Christ, getting to know Him better, getting to understand myself through lessons in the Bible and different people that I've come across in situations that I see in the world and in my own life make more sense. I'm not left angry and upset and unknowing because I could just put that onto Christ. It's not my place to worry about.
Where are you at with your family? How's your family doing?
Alex and my parents are doing wonderfully. They're doing great. My sister still has her struggles. And that's, I pray for her. I hope that she's able to overcome that. As far as myself with them, I spend more time with my family, definitely than I used to. Talk to them more, have more of a personal relationship. I specifically want to emphasize Alex in this. I know that he has a negative reputation throughout the group of friends that we had. Part of his doing, or part of that being his doing and his behavior, and part of that being my own. behavior and saying negative things about him, which I know was wrong. I knew was wrong at the time too, and did it anyways. You know, I think some of you would have a lot in common with him now, more than you would think. And, you know, I just want to remind everyone that we're all human. We all make mistakes. We're all sinners. We're all worthy of forgiveness at the same time.
Just final question, probably the biggest one, is where you at with the drug stuff? Because this was kind of the beginning of it as well. The first informant, kind of the beginning of that whole thing for you. So where you at with that?
Yeah. You know, it really kicked my ass for a long time. I was smoking marijuana a lot, frequently, every day, sometimes multiple times a day, especially towards the beginning and for years on after that. But I'm happy to tell you now that I'm clean, quit. I don't do any form of marijuana. I wish I could say the same about nicotine, but I can say that I haven't touched a vape or any form of inhaled nicotine in over a month. And now I'm using nicotine pouches. I want to quit that too, eventually. I don't have a roadmap for it right now. I am, you know, it's probably an excuse, but the way I see it is I'm dealing with other addictions and ridding myself of those things. And, you know, I don't want to do everything all at once and, you know, cause myself to go right back to where I was. Just backslide straight to the beginning. That is the last thing that I want. As far as the drugs and whatnot go with my siblings, Alex is completely clean, aside from the nicotine pouches as well. He quit vaping and smoking marijuana before I did. And he has also turned a page in his life and found Christ. And we both pray for my sister, who still has her struggles with it. It's definitely not as prevalent as it used to be in our lives, especially for me and Alex, but, you know, I would appreciate if some of you could find it in yourselves to pray for her as well. Hello. I hope that this video is finding you all well. I have to say something to all of you watching this video, regardless of who you may be or who I am to you. I owe you all an apology. I have done wrong by you, some of you more than others, but regardless, I'm sorry. There's a lot of things I've done throughout my life that I look back on with distaste and sometimes even anger. And I'm sorry that I wasn't a light in your life, and I wasn't the person that I wanted to be, but instead was someone who acted without care or thought and just did what I pleased in the moment. And with that being said, you know, I hope you made it this far in the video. Thank you for watching, but truly know that I want your forgiveness, and I'm sorry.
Thank you so much for watching The Informant. I've been Isaac, your informant. Let me know if you want to see more. Any stories you want me to talk about, bring up. I could do a news show. I could bring guests on and talk. If you want more, let me know. Reach out to me if you know me. Thank you so much for coming. Leave a comment if you come this far. Tell me what you think about it. Thank you so much.